This is Danny again at freeh2.com, and here we're using our cool booster. Again, we're using our cool booster, and we're you can see here it's making hydrogen and oxygen. You can look here, our tube, you can see it flowing through there. See it flowing through up to the booster, the booster buddy, otherwise known as our cool booster. And I've been letting this thing run for many hours. This is one of our dual boosters. It runs in a series. And this thing's getting pretty warm. It's at 46 degrees Celsius. And what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do here, I have a cooling tube. I have a copper cooling tube, which you should use stainless instead of copper. What I'm going to do is insert the cooling tube, put it in a bucket of water, and the water temperature is at about 70 degrees, about 20 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run for a little while. Because like I said, this thing's been running for several hours, and I need to change the amp meter because this amp meter is not showing correctly. We should be up about 10 amps on this. And at 10 amps, I make about 3/4 of a liter a minute with this. You can see it bubbling here. You can look through the tube. It's making pretty good rate. But putting this cooling tube in there, see our booster buddies, or cool boosters, whichever one you want to call them. Whenever it makes the gas leaves the booster and it travels up through the tube. It goes up to the booster buddy, and it goes in the booster buddy or the cool booster, and it comes out the bottom, and it goes through the coil and all the way back, and it comes back to the booster. And the coil is an option. We have stainless cooling units you could mount in front of your radiator if you run long periods of time, and if you're running a lot of amps. If you want to cool with it, you can use it to cool with. But here we are, we're at 46 degrees Celsius still on here. It takes a little while. I'm starting to feel, right now I can feel it cooling down. I can feel the temperature of the tube dropping. It's pretty cool right now, the tube is. The one going in, it's pretty warm, and the one coming out, it's pretty cool. So if we let this run a little bit, I'll let this run a little bit, then I'll get back and check it here after a while. Right now it is approximately 8:28. So we'll check it back here after a while. I'll look see when it starts cooling down, and I'll get back with you. Okay, here we are back. It is now 8:32, and we are now at 44 degrees Celsius. So we dropped 2 degrees Celsius in about 3 minutes, and you can still feel it's still cool coming out, and still pretty warm going in. So we'll check back in a little bit and see what temperature we went to. And we have, on our thermometer, we have went up a little bit in temperature on there. So anyway, we'll check back in a little bit. Here we are back again, and now it is 8:38. And we're still running, still got our booster running. I haven't shut it off. It's still producing. And now we are at 42 degrees Celsius. and it says it's 8:38 right now. So we have cooled down. It shows you that we went from 46 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and not a long period of time, but it took a little while to get there. But our cooling tube, which, like I said, you don't want to use copper. We have this just because it's flexible and we can play around with it. But we have stainless steel cooling units, and we're redesigning those. We're making some better ones. We're still waiting on some material to get here. But this thing here normally would be mounted in front of your radiator or behind the bumper. So as you're moving, this thing would have air going over it. And you can see here, of course, we have duct tape on it to hold the thermocouple on it. But you can see this thing would be mounted just like that in your vehicle. And air would be flowing between those tubes and around them. It would keep them cool. Plus, if you had your aluminum cooling unit hooked up to it, you would be even cooler yet, because this thing circulates. Like I said, it circulates through this booster buddy continuously as it's running. You can see the flow through there. You see it flowing through the tube. As it produces gas, it flows out of the booster, flows up through the tube, then it returns back out the bottom tube. You can see it there, going in, and it comes out the bottom tube. And right now we're going through this cooling tube to this bucket of water. And now our temperature, we haven't raised a whole lot, but we did raise it. It seems like we raised it a little bit on the temp. But like I said, if this thing's mounted in front of the vehicle and it's going, as it runs, it will cool down pretty good. And if you have the cooling unit on there, it cools down quite a bit more. But this unit here, we made this runs in a series. It gets warm, but we run at pretty low amperage, but there's a lot of stainless plates in there and stainless rods running through there, so it keeps the amperage down and still makes decent production of gas. So we have put a little bit more electrolyte in there when you start running in a series like that and stacking them together. But we're working all the details out on those. We've been running these quite a while. I've run 2 chambers and 4 chamber tubes like this, and we also have the single chambers, the big single chambers. But I like these little ones because it seems like you can put them about anywhere. And it seems like they're just a lot more convenient. Right now we're bouncing around. We're down to 41 degrees Celsius. Bounce between 41 and 42. We're dropping a little bit, the temperature. Now it's 8:42. We started this whole thing at 8:28. So we're down to 41 degrees Celsius. And I think I will conclude this for this video, and just look for more informational videos that we'll be making.